Hi everyone. Today's video is about the difference between kidnapping and abduction. A lot of people don't even understand that there's a huge difference. So as per the Indian law, kidnapping, as the word says, kid, is only used for kids. So if you're a male below 16 years of age or a female below 18 years of age and you're taken away from your guardian, that is kidnapping. And there's another kind of kidnapping where a person is taken, and now this is any person, a person of any age is taken out of the country, out of India, that is also kidnapping. But abduction is something totally different. The main point about kidnapping is, I'm talking about kidnapping within India, is when a kid is taken away from the guardian, and once a kid is taken away from the guardian, away from the custody of a guardian or legal guardian, then there has to be no reason assigned as to why you kidnapped. The moment you take a person away from the custody, kidnapping has happened. The crime has occurred. It doesn't matter what your intention was. And the second thing is that the consent of the child in question does not matter. Like if you take a 17-year-old girl with her consent away from the custody of her parents, that is kidnapping. It doesn't matter what the girl said, whether she consented or not, because she's not an adult yet. In case of abduction, abduction happens only for adults, and abduction in itself is not a crime. For example, if you take somebody away against his own will, now kidnapping is always a crime against the guardian, because you took the child away from the guardian. But abduction is a crime against the person who was abducted. Now in abduction, like I said, abduction itself is not a crime, but the purpose of the abduction is a crime. For example, if you abduct somebody for the purpose of doing a illegal act on that person, or stealing from that person, or murdering the person, or whatever. So whatever was your purpose of abduction, that is the crime, and abduction is always an auxiliary crime. But kidnapping is a crime in itself. For example, if you kidnap a kid, it doesn't matter what your purpose was. Let me give you a very simple example. Suppose you have a chauffeur who drops your kid to school and picks the kid from school every day, and there is this route from your kid's school to your home, which the driver follows every day. One day the driver decides that he'll take a detour and go meet some friend of his, or to take a detour for whatever reason. So the moment he takes the detour, he has kidnapped the kid. It does not matter why he did it, what his purpose was, kidnapping has happened. Now kidnapping is an offense that happens at the moment when this child was taken away from the normal route. In other cases, when the child is taken away from the custody of the guardian. But abduction is a continued crime. For example, if somebody is abducted, this person remains abducted and the crime is continuously happening till the time this person is brought back to the place where he wants to be. And anything that happens with the person during the entire time of abduction is the main crime, with which this crime of abduction will be an auxiliary crime. Of course, there's different punishments for what was the purpose of kidnapping. If you kidnap a kid for the purpose of making him beg, for the purpose of sexual crime or whatever, so there's a separate punishment for that. I see a lot of reports that you see in the media where people have said this person was kidnapped, that person was kidnapped. I just hope and wish that people from the press would be given some elementary knowledge of law, so at least what they report is somewhat correct. I know that they can't be all lawyers, but this is basic knowledge. We know the basic crimes that happen in the society, and about these basic crimes there should be some education given to everybody so they know what the difference is and what the consequences are. And also, there's a lot we hear about, this accused and that accused had confessed in the police custody, he had confessed in the CBI custody, he had confessed here, confessed there. I think I've said this before, that any confession which is done in police custody is not a confession. It has zero value. You can confess anything in police custody, but then what really matters and what is really of value is what you say in front of a magistrate when you appear in front of a magistrate. If you totally refute a confession, refuting statement will be counted and not your confession statement, because when you confess in front of a police officer without the presence of a magistrate, that is not a confession at all. It is just zero value. Yes, the police will still use methods to get statements out of you for discovery, because if they can corroborate your confession with evidence. For example, if you've said, yeah, I confessed to the crime and I used a knife, I buried the knife in so and so place, and they go and find the knife with the fingerprints in that place. Now your confession has a value because they corroborated your confession with evidence. But just plain confession without any corroboration of the evidence is of zero value, no value at all. Okay guys, you have a good day. Bye bye.